So, how many of you went to the meeting where we had Lindsay Cormack give the presentation on how to, I think it was something like how to raise a citizen? Okay, I thought that was one of the best presentations ever. And the other thing was, and I'll explain if you missed it. The other thing was, she had a lot of ideas that she was just starting to work on. It wasn't even in her book. But the best idea she had was this, that democracy is not a spectator sport. And, you know, I think she actually had a picture of somebody that was, you know, how you go to a game and people are painting up their faces. Well, you're painting up your face, but you're not on the field, okay? You're a spectator. And her point was, you have to be in the game. But then the other thing was, taking it a little bit further, was that if you are like the athlete, or if you don't like sports analogies, if you are like a musician, okay? You don't just sit down and do it, okay? It requires practice, okay? And that's what, so athletes practice ahead of a race day. And here the idea is that voters practice ahead of election day. And voters practice ahead of election day by learning about issues that are important to them. Actually, this is a slide we use when we go to the high schools. Kelly, you remember this slide? Okay, so the point of this presentation is about you. There isn't a great big ask in this presentation, and we need your help. We need the help of all the members of the league. So where are we? So the voter education team has the presentations ready. Our community partners, they've provided us with the space, okay? But just those two things alone doesn't make an event happen, okay? And you have to build an audience. And we found that out over the last several years, okay? The first year when we did this for the first time in 2022, we had all of these presentations set up all across the metro. We had a wonderful attendance at the Plaza Library, and we had like 2 or 3 at this particular location, okay? So, you know, that's no fun. Okay, so what that means and what we've learned is you have to build audiences. And building audiences really requires talking one-on-one with people, okay? And so I'll build on that. We've seen some of our members, and I'll call out Donna Hogue. Donna Hogue, when she comes to one of our presentations, she doesn't come just alone. She comes with a posse, okay? She comes with about 6 or 7 people. And there are other folks that do that too, but I wanted to call her out on that. Okay, so here's our schedule of presentations. We've got 4 in-person presentations, and we've got 2 virtual presentations. The very first is next Monday out at the Mid-Continent Public Library in Lee Summit East. Okay, this is something that's new for us. This is the first time we've been able to engage the Mid-Continent Public Library, and this is a great way. You know, one of the things that people always associate our league with is just being the Brookside thing, okay? And so this is our way of breaking out of Brookside, okay? Because we have the entire metro covered here. We've got Lee Summit East, we've got the Ivanhoe Community Center the next day, next Tuesday. Of course, we've got the plaza. Then at the very end, we've got a presentation in the Northland at the Whitney Center on Monday, July 27th. Now, this is a fairly short list of presentations because we didn't have a whole lot of time between the 4th of July weekend and this election. Okay? We have a whole lot more time in November, but we have to play the hand that the governor has dealt us.
Greg?
Yes.
The one on July 13th at the Lee Summit, is that the a new library on Little Blue Crossway?
Yes. Let me see. I'm going to fast forward here.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking that must be which one it is.
Yeah, it is. I was there. I've got the address, and I know that blue, and I know that Parkway is in the address. Yeah,
No,
there we
I
go.
know
It's
where
a
it is.
4-year-old library. Yeah.
Yeah, I drove by one day and I thought, oh, there's a library.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Really new.
Okay. We've been doing this probably since, I think we've done this since 2022, and it always amazes me when people say, oh, I didn't know you had YouTube videos for these things. Okay? But we do. We make YouTube videos for every one of these things. This is the actual page. If you know, Pat has been so kind to put on the voter education page the list of all the presentations, and if you click on the very first entry that Pat has put for us that says the playlist, this is the playlist that shows up in YouTube. Okay, I love the way YouTube does all the work for us here. You know, I couldn't have made something this nice myself. But here we go. We've got the title of the playlist, and then we've got all of these things here. It's just like, you know, an album when back in the 1970s. You know. All right. And speaking of those YouTube videos, those are actually our biggest market. We had for 2024 2,300 unique views. Unique. Okay, that wasn't me clicking on it 2,300 times. 2,300 times. Another number I like, that's 125 hours of viewing time. So that's the equivalent of having 4 1-hour meetings with 30 people in it, watching the whole time and not kind of drifting off. Okay, so what do we do in voter education in these presentations, or actually in all of our work? We give, this is what we always say, this is our stock answer. We give voters the information they need to make a confident and informed decision. Okay, so let's talk about the confident part. This is all about knowing where to vote, knowing that their ballot is secure. By the way, we made a video that was done by Joe Holt years ago, and people are still clicking on that and watching it. Okay, even though Joe's out in California, you know, her work continues on. I'll have to tell her that. But anyway, that's about the ballot being secure. Okay, but this is something that I'll pull from our work on online media literacy. Okay, these days, it's not enough just to vote. What you have to do is to have an informed vote, okay? And our technology today is doing everything possible so that people don't make informed votes. It's the way our society is today, it pushes people to tribalism, okay? And so they vote for their tribe rather than their interests. So what can you do about it? Well, if you give people more information so that they can have an informed vote, that's something that can hopefully tip the scales the other way. Okay, so what do we do on these ballot measures? We try to get people to understand, and making these informed decisions, the context of the ballot question. And that's a big ask, okay? It's a big task, okay? Because the ballot language is real short, it's off on its own, and you don't have the context, okay? We have to explain the ballot language. And then the other thing is we give arguments for and arguments against. But if an argument is not grounded in facts, if an argument is misinformation, we do not re-amplify that misinformation, okay? And of course, it's important to navigate misinformation. That's more of the work we do with online media literacy, which will continue after this election. Okay, so these presentations, they're grounded in a standard of non-bias and non-partisanship. And it's important for us to understand the arguments for and against the ballot measure. So here's this, in this quote here, I'll go ahead and tell the story. Ann, you were there. We were when we first got this thing set up at the Kansas City Public Library, when we told people what we were going to do, the head of community engagement looked at us and he said, so you believe that the voter, when presented with the necessary context, as well as the arguments for and against, will make a decision consistent with their interests? And we said yes. And that has stuck with me ever since, because that is what we aspire to do. Okay, drawing on online media literacy, okay? There is this idea that we believe that a functioning democracy requires that people with opposing views share and compare ideas, okay? And that's what we try to do. And again, if you can get people in the room that have different ideas, and so long as they're grounded in the facts, that's the way democracy ought to work, okay? The other thing is, from a selfish standpoint, knowing your opponent's views can make you more persuasive. All right, so the governor has dealt us a difficult hand to play, because we're dealing with ballot measure decisions that are probably, in my opinion, the most important in Missouri history, and he's doing it on a primary in the summer, okay? In August of 2024, the turnout was around 20%, okay? Okay? It not only are you dealing with something that's, the 60% voter turnout that people always think about, that's a national election, okay? Lower than that is a midterm, and that's a November midterm. We're dealing with a midterm primary in August, okay? For the most important election in Missouri history. Okay, who remembers this? Okay, so, and not only do we have old technology, we have old series, but for those of you grounded in the 21st century, there was this show called Mission Impossible, where a spy got their assignment on a magnetic tape, and they closed it by saying, your mission, should you accept it, is, and that's the deal. This is not Mission Impossible, this is Mission Possible. And so here's how we can do it, okay? Number one, register for the presentations. And this is important. It's important to register, not just show up, okay? Because the libraries take a look at that, and it gives us credibility. The next year we sit down with them. The other thing is, the libraries have also told us, hey, we don't want you breaking the fire codes. So, this is this kind of stuff. It's a little thing, but it helps a whole lot. So, register for the presentations on the League of Women Voters Kansas City calendar. Pat has done the work in getting the link set up. Also on the Kansas City Public Library website for theirs, and the Mid-Continent Public Library website for theirs. For the Ivanhoe presentation, you can get to their link going through our link. Okay. With a friend, and we've talked about that before, but this is one way of, let's say, doubling your impact. Okay, and like I said, tell your friends about the presentations, but also tell them about the YouTube videos. The YouTube videos that you can, there's this button called share, and share it with them, and that's a great way to spread the word. Okay, so here's your toolkit for all of our members. There's the voter education page. All of this stuff is on the voter education page. There's the calendar. There's the websites we just talked about. Here we go. This is what Pauline was asking for. And for Lee Summit, yes, there we go. Okay, 2240 Southeast Blue Parkway, Lee Summit, Missouri. 4-year-old library. I was there Friday or Thursday. Very nice place. Okay, this is also a flyer we have on our website. You can print it out, and you can forward it to your friends. It's got all the places. And this is what I was talking about. This is on the website also. It's got the list of the videos. It's got the playlist at the top. And I want to give a shout out to Alice, Reva, Elizabeth, Nance, Doug, and Laura for all of the hard work that they've done. And they are going to be doing a lot of hard work giving these presentations over the next several weeks here. So give them some support.
Kudos to Greg. Yes.
All right. So, how do you know? How do you know if you've had success? Okay. Well, if you've had success, okay, accepting this mission, how do you know? Well, one of your friends will come back to you and they'll say, "Oh, Jenny, I really really like that video you forwarded, okay? Well, what are you going to say? You're going to say, thank you for taking the time to become an informed voter. So, thank you. I'll take questions. Yes, Randy.
Yep, so maybe for next time, so I printed out like flyers and posted them in my building lobby and all that, but I noticed like, I think for the next round, like, is it possible to get like QR codes or something? So like, if I'm just posting a flyer, like, people could take a picture and like go right to the link or whatever. So I'm trying to figure out like how to get that word out, and then kind of the same thing and when I'm sending a text message to people with a list of meetings, like, yeah, if they could just be able to, like, I could send them the QR code or like the link or links or whatever. It's kind of clunky. Or I maybe they're there and I just didn't find the right version to send out.
Okay, so great question and a great suggestion. Laura, you seem to be ready to give an answer here. So, for those of you that didn't hear the question, Brandy was saying that she's been very active about publicizing this, and she said, well, what about, it would be helpful to have QR codes. And Laura, you seem to have a ready answer here.
Okay, so the flyer that we just had up, I took and you can use AI Enhance and make them great. I carry that flyer on my phone. I shared it last night sitting on a bar stool next to a friend of mine listening to live music. And she's like, oh, I can go hear about this? Irene. And I'm like, yeah, let me send this to you. You can pick which place you want to go. So carry it on your phone. It's easier than carrying a paper one. Then someone's going to take a picture. And then at the bottom, and if you just put in League of Women Voters in a browser, it's going to come up. And so that's one way to do it. And then the other thing that I want to make sure we all know about is how to sign up for the volunteer opportunities, because we've set up 2 spots for each of our 4 in-person presentations for, we're calling them greeters. We need a couple of people to come and, hey, great, thank you for coming in. Yeah, you can find a seat over there. Oh, here's one of our business cards. Here's a QR code so you can watch the presentation now, follow along, and you can look at it again later. And there's one other thing we're handing out.
The 411 card.
And the Vote 411 card, or our business card, whichever. We have both of those cards. So there's so many volunteer opportunities out there right now that we really, really need people to sign up. And we've got lots of open spots for Jim's Get Out the Vote at the River Market too.
So Brandy, that was a great suggestion, and we still have time to do that. So we'll come up with something today so that there's a QR code.
That'd be awesome, because like Florence did that on their flyers.
Yes.
Their flyers has a QR code on it, so then like the person just has to take it. Because like, it's like what I'm doing or what I did was, I printed out your flyers, I printed out the forum flyers, and they have a bulletin board in our mail room in my condo building, and so I just posted those on our bulletin board. But like, folks, like they can take a picture of the flyer, but it like then they're gonna have to go like to the website, and are folks gonna take that extra step to do that? I think if we can, it would be helpful.
Okay, great idea. In other words, a QR code to take people to the website, take them straight to registration.
I could do that too.
Okay, Marianne.
Well, this is kind of an off-the-wall thing, but there was a story in the Star the other day. There was a story, article in the Star the other day about how Kansas and Missouri were using these particular issues to camouflage what was really on their minds, which was abortion. That because the abortion passed an initiative petition, they want to get rid of initiative petitions. So they're saying that these issues are really abortion issues, not initiative issues. And I just wondered if you had thought about how people will come up and say, aren't these really just a cover for abortion?
Okay, that's a great question. We actually addressed that in our presentation.
Oh, good.
And it goes beyond that.
Yes.
very briefly, but you'll see it here. And we actually, for Amendment 4, we actually have quotes from proponents of making the initiative petition process more restrictive. And it really goes beyond that. It goes to this idea that there should be more power to the state legislatures and less power to the citizens. And there's even a quote from, I'll give the quote right now. This person says, direct democracy is a problem. Okay? Now, if you believe with that, again, I'm wearing the voter education hat, okay? I'm not advocating one side or another. But if you believe that direct democracy is a problem, then Amendment 4 is your ticket, okay? If you believe that direct democracy is a good thing, then you probably will vote against it, okay? That's it, I didn't endorse here. But, Mary Ann, when you see the presentation, you will know that page. But and that will loom even larger in November when Amendment 3 is on the ballot.
Well, it's just be prepared.
Exactly. And to Mary Ann's point, this is not a local issue. This is not just a Missouri thing. This is not just a Missouri and a Kansas thing. This is going on across the country.
Right.
Yeah. All right, other questions?
So Amendment 3 is not on the August ballot?
That is correct. The question was Amendment 3 is not on the August ballot. Now, again, remember, the governor had discretion as to what to put on the ballot and when, okay? So I'm presuming that the government, and the other thing is this August election, the governor's signature issue is the whole income tax repeal, okay? He does not want something on the ballot that might generate voters that may not like his signature issue. So he was very careful to choose what he thought would be the most likely time, as well as coordinated ballot measures to pair up with Amendment 5. So Amendment 3 is not on the ballot, and people are going to say, wait a second, I got number 1, I got number 2, I got number 4, I got number 5. Where's number 3? I'm missing a page here on my ballot. No, number 3 is in November. All right, other questions? Okay, well, thank you for your attention, and I hope to see you at our presentation. Let me make one more pitch. It's important to be there in person. I love the online presentations because it reaches folks that can't, but we learn stuff by listening to what the audience has to say. Janice Comer, if you are on this presentation, I will say that when we made a presentation at a venue that you were attending, there was a discussion about the legalizing sports betting, and you made an argument that changed my vote on that. So information flows both ways at these things. So thank you.
Thanks, Greg. Do I have any committee chairs or anybody that wants to make any announcements or anything today?
We have 299 members when I looked a couple of days ago. Please talk to your friends. Amy says, oh, shoot, I need to renew. And so I looked it up for her, and she now knows she needs to renew. And she has another friend that, oh, we could be the 2 greeters for the Woodhams presentation on July 27th. That's exactly what we need you to do, is go, oh yeah, I've got another friend who's in the league. I'll grab them to attend one of the presentations, listen to a forum together, talk to people about all these things that we are doing to help people become informed voters. Please, please, please reach out to the people you know who are in the league and say, hey, they need 5 spots down at 2 different things down at the River Market for Get Out the Vote. Let's go do that one Saturday morning. There are just so many opportunities for volunteering right now, and we need all of us to be reaching out to all of these members and getting people to volunteer. We've got a lot of members, and if we don't keep them engaged, they're going to leave us. So we need to be an active organization, and we need your help as members to get people involved.
And that kind of leads me to my final little thing here. I don't know if you looked at the last e-voter. Thank you, Jenny, and the work that Jenny and Annette are doing on the current e-voter has been great, stepping in and doing everything. But Jim Calvert wrote a nice article, and I was just going to quote from Jim as we left, and we're hammering it home today. But Jim said, "My sense is many of you joined the League because you also feel strongly about protecting our democracy at all levels. And we are the organization best suited for that advocacy. Our nonpartisan beliefs keep us focused on issues rather than politicians. We educate rather than aggravate. We support voters rather than candidates. But our organization needs more than just your moral support. We even need more than just your monetary contributions. We need your time. I stepped into the chair to get the Get Out the Vote committee, which will have events coming in July and October. But there are other committees that will have events coming just around the corner too. And we all need volunteers to step up and help us reach out and educate our electorate, support their efforts at participation, and monitor our elected officials to keep them working for all of their constituents. You've taken the first step by joining. The next step is to sign up for our DEI nonpartisan training that is required before working with the public as a League representative. It can be found by logging into the website and following the link. And then he says, and once you've completed the training, we encourage you to visit our volunteer page here. So I just want to thank Jim. I thought kind of put it just right. And we know that some people can only offer moral support right now and monetary support, and we appreciate that too. But for those of us that are able to get out, especially these next 20-some plus days, we've given you different ways. You can show up, you can get flyers, hand them out, and feel free to pick them up. These are all for your taking and doing that. But I just want to thank everybody for everything that you've been doing, and tell your, one last thing. Take care of yourself while you're out there, because we had a member that was, Beth was working at an event and her car was hit. So we want you to take care of yourselves. You might say, well, don't say it, but just, be careful when you're out there. Take care of yourself. It can be a very emotional, stressful time right now, but you've got community, so let's support each other with that. So, and then I hope anybody want to announce about what's going to happen next?
Sure. Thank you. I have a whole bunch of materials in my car, so I'm going to ask a couple of people to come out and help me fetch stuff. We have blank posters that are made out of this material. We have a few of those. We also have a bunch of foam core boards. What we've discovered, because we made a group of my friends made some 2 weeks ago, and so they've been out in the rain for many days. And what we discovered is they will not hold up for months, and I'm going to try putting, I'd like us to try putting a piece of tape across the top, but anyway, I'm getting into too much detail. So we have materials to make posters. We also have some things to cover the table, so I'd like you all to jump in and help us make, not posters, yard signs. And I have instructions, and I have a little story. I have a little story to tell before we get rolling. Because sometimes it feels like we're doing all of this and nobody's listening. I went to the park a couple days ago, across the street from my house, because the library truck was there, and I just wanted to check it out. And while I was there, I met a young woman and her 2 young kids, and chatted with them, and they live in the neighborhood. And then I walked home, and my yard sign had fallen over because it rained and it had gotten all messed up. So I was sort of trying to fix it and re-stab it, and she came to her car, which was right across from me, and said, "Ann, is that your sign?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Thank you for putting that sign in the yard, because I just moved here from Kansas, and it reminded me that I needed to get registered to vote." And then I called 7 of my friends, and they live in Kansas, but I called them and reminded them that they need to vote in August too. And then I came and I took a picture of the sign because I saw your other signs that you have on the door, which are some LGBTQ signs. And she said, so I knew that we would probably agree on this issue. And I took a picture of the sign so I would know how to vote when I went into the polls. So thank you. And then I said, of course, I have another sign, would you like one? And she said, yes, please. So I went and got her a sign. So I just want to tell you that story before we get rolling, making signs, so I hope that you guys will all stay. And I hope that you'll make 5 or 6 signs, because you could take them and give them to your friends, or you could give them to me. And I'm going to put the word out that I've got signs, and I'm just going to leave them on my front porch. People can just come get signs, because they don't seem to be signs advocating for vote no on 4 and 5. I've talked to some other groups, and nobody seems to have signs, or there aren't enough signs. So let's just make our signs. And the argument from the other side is that oh, you're letting out-of-state money decide. Well, I think nothing says no out-of-state money here like I need a very day sign. All right, so thank you. Come and help me, please.
Is anyone from GOTV here?
No, he's at the city
He's
market.
at City Market, and he needed volunteers, and I don't,
Do you need
if
to
he got
give him
any
something?
extra volunteers
I've got
today.
candy that, I don't know who it belongs to, but he was gonna take it.
Okay.
So I brought candy that I gave to him, I thought there was somebody else I could pass it on.
Maybe, I may. Yeah, I may, we'll see how, are you staying?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
If you can't stay, please give me this. If you can stay, leave it on so that we can get to know each other better. And I do have the bag
Or you
of
could just
newspaper
pass
to
out the
spread out on.
candy.
Yes, I just say newspaper.